Tonight on Newswatch, Governor J.B. Pritzker makes Illinois the second state to cap a cost of a life-saving medicine.
Also tonight, Eastern Illinois University is set to receive millions of dollars for a long-awaited building project. Philip?
It was a cold, cloudy, dreary day, and we'll have a couple more of those this week. I'll let you know when you finally get to see that sunshine. Your only local news on PBS starts right now.
Carl is redefining healthcare around you, innovating new solutions and offering all levels of care when and where you need it. Investing in technology and research to optimize healthcare, Carl, with Health Alliance, is always at the forefront to help you thrive.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
State officials say a quarter of type 1 diabetics have reported underusing insulin due to its cost. But Governor Pritzker is taking steps to change that. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Parker Valentine.
And I'm Everett Lau. We'll have more on our top story in a moment, but first we join Skywatch forecaster Philip Collins for a first look at the forecast. Good evening, Philip.
Good evening, Everett. Well, as I mentioned, it was a cold day, and whenever we started to look at our daytime highs, we were at 33 degrees from Vermilion down into Vigo County. The rest of the viewing area, below that freeze mark, 30 degrees in Charleston, so we were 2 degrees below that. And out in Christian County, well, it was about 3 degrees below that at 29 degrees. And whenever we put that in perspective towards our average is about 37 degrees, so we were fairly cooler than that. As we start to look over the next 3 hours, you can see we are in store for a quick warm up back up to the 32 degree mark, but then things will start to cool back off as we drop down to our overnight low closer into the 20s. Mostly cloudy skies throughout the viewing area tonight, and that will start to pick up with some fog. So over the next 7 days, we do have a foggy day ahead of us, a gradual warm up, and then a dry week is in store. So I'll let you know about the rest of the details in my full Skywatch forecast.
Thanks, Philip. Now back to our top story, where Illinois has become the second U.S. state to cap the price of life-saving insulin. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a law Friday that caps the cost of the medicine for state-regulated commercial health insurance plans at $100. The bill comes after residents with diabetes complained about a spike in out-of-pocket expenses that Pritzker says have nearly tripled in the past 10 years.
This new law will cap insulin costs at $100 per 30-day supply, significantly below the $500 to $900 payments that many Illinoisans currently face every month.
Insulin is necessary for people with diabetes to regulate blood sugar levels. About 1.3 million Illinois residents have the unpreventable disease. State officials say 1 in 4 type 1 diabetics have reported insulin underuse due to the high cost of the medicine. Tax season is underway. The Illinois Department of Revenue is accepting 2019 state individual income tax returns starting today. The Internal Revenue Service is also accepting federal individual income tax returns. Government officials say if taxpayers file an error-free return, they should receive a direct deposit refund within 4 weeks.
A local university's Board of Trustees has voted to extend its president's contract. Eastern Illinois University officials say David Glassman's contract has been extended through May 31st, 2022, increasing Glassman's salary to $325,000, a 10% increase of his previous salary. They say the extension is based upon his dedication to increasing the school's enrollment, navigating Eastern through an unprecedented 2-year state budget impasse, and reinforcing the school's reputation for excellence. Glassman is Eastern's 12th president. Also from EIU tonight, the university is getting millions of dollars to fund a long-awaited building. EIU officials say the state of Illinois has released just under $12 million in initial funding for Eastern's new science building. They say the money comes from the state's Rebuild Illinois initiative, which was part of legislation approved back in June. They say the bill will eventually provide a total of $119 million for the science building. Another local school may be getting an upgrade in the upcoming year. Maroa Forsyth School Superintendent John Allmeyer says the school's Board of Education unanimously voted to place a $33 million referendum on the March 17th ballot to replace the district's middle school. He says building a new middle school in Maroa has many advantages to better the future learning and needs of the students and community. Allmeyer says if the referendum passes, construction and renovation would begin in the summer of 2021.
From Edgar County tonight, the body of a missing Paris man is found after a search yesterday morning. Family members say 45-year-old Jeremy McDaniel was last seen leaving his residence on South Shore Drive shortly after 3:30 Sunday morning. A search team of law enforcement and local residents were searching for McDaniel when two Paris police officers discovered McDaniel's remains in a private pond approximately a mile and a half from his residence. Edgar County Coroner Scott Barrett pronounced McDaniel dead at the scene. Terre Haute forensic pathologist Dr. Roland Kaur performed an autopsy today, but we are waiting on those results. The incident remains under investigation, but officials say foul play is not expected. In tonight's Crime Watch, Champaign police respond to reports of gunfire at a mall over the weekend. It happened Saturday evening at Marketplace Mall on Neal Street. Officers say shots were fired in the parking lot on the west side of the business, damaging several vehicles, but no injuries were reported. They say there's no evidence to suggest shots were fired inside the mall, but the investigation continues. Anyone with information is asked to call Champaign Police or Crime Stoppers. Vermilion County Sheriff's deputy is recovering after being hit by a vehicle. Authorities say 70-year-old Violet James of Tennessee was traveling down Interstate 74 near milepost 218 Sunday morning when she attempted to switch lanes and hit the deputy's vehicle. They say the deputy was on the scene of an accident that happened on I-74 with all emergency lights on before being hit. Authorities say James was cited for failure to reduce speed to avoid an accident and Scott's Law. They say the deputy was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
A signature Mattoon business is changing hands. CONAGRA Brands announced they've sold LENDER'S bagels to BIMBO Bakeries USA for an undisclosed amount of money. The sale includes LENDER'S brand, facility, and inventory. When LENDER'S first opened in Mattoon, leaders organized the first Bagel Fest to introduce the company to the community. The company provides thousands of bagels for the event every year. Hunting season has come to an end, and the total numbers may take you by surprise. Officials from the Department of Natural Resources say this season Illinois hunters harvested more than 153,000 deer. They say the traditional firearm season brought in the most deer, but totals were lower than last season by around 5,000 deer. DNR officials say hunters shot 45% females and 55% males.
If you live in Champaign County and hear outdoor warning sirens during calm weather this week, don't be alarmed. Champaign County's Emergency Management Agency is modernizing a 39 siren system from analog to digital communications. Those 39 sirens are located in Champaign, Urbana, Savoy, and on the University of Illinois campus. Following the upgrades, each siren will need to be tested and evaluated, and the agency says those tests will occur until January 31st between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And it looks like a quiet week for those siren tests.
Going to be quiet, but not a lot of sunshine. Is that right, Philip?
That's absolutely right, and we'll even see some fog roll in through the overnight hours. I'll time everything up for you and my full Skywatch report. Thanks for joining us tonight on your only local news on PBS.
This is the PBS that you love, but we're so much more. Your local PBS station is also a vital community resource, a critical service for first responders in times of need, and a safe space for young children to learn and grow. But it could all disappear without federal support. Go to protectmypublicmedia.org and tell Congress to preserve funding for your PBS station.
The clouds remain in the viewing area. Now fog is starting to move in. You can actually see that on radar. If you look closely, you can see some speckles of the white moving in. No, that's not snow. That is actually the fog rolling throughout the viewing area. We'll start to see that move in bigger force as the evening progresses, especially headed into tomorrow morning. And Futurecast is really picking up the cloud activity as well as that fog starting Tuesday around 4 a.m. This is whenever that fog's going to be at its heaviest, so visibility is definitely going to be down in comparison to what we had today. And you can really see that by the thickness and the transparency. Well, it's not really transparent if you look at it. It's definitely gray and white across the viewing area. So we're expecting a lot of clouds as well as that fog around 4 a.m. and it'll last pretty much all day long. We may see less fog in the afternoon, but nonetheless, the clouds will start to break down around 4 p.m. But even at that most, don't get too excited about sunshine because we still have those clouds, and then that sun's going to set, and the more clouds definitely are going to roll back in come Wednesday. So this is Tuesday around 4 p.m. And as we start to look at the visibility for tonight, though, this is Monday around 10 p.m. So this is tonight at 10 p.m. Just shy of 3 miles is what your visibility is up in Champaign, 1.5 out in Vermilion County, and then here in Charleston around 4 to 4.5 miles is our visibility. To put that in perspective, we are close to 6-7 miles of visibility here throughout the East Central Illinois today, and it even gets worse as we head closer to sunrise. This is around 1:30 a.m. on Tuesday, so just a couple hours out from that, actually a handful of hours out. 2.5 miles is the visibility in Charleston, 2 up in Champaign, and then 3.7 out in Effingham County. Champaign is definitely going to get the brunt of the fog as it continues to move in. That's the county that's going to be most affected by that. So that's going to be our hometown highlight for tonight is Champaign County. Look at those temperatures though. This is around 3 p.m. We're still expected to see some remnants of that fog, but it's going to be 33 degrees across the board from Gifford down into Broadlands and even out into Ivesdale. Those winds coming out of the north to northwest about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Well, that's just one factor of why we're starting to see more fog move in. Now, as we pick up Futurecast where we left off, you can see some precipitation out towards St. Louis in the form of snow and then Paducah in the form of rain. But unfortunately, here back at home, we're not going to be able to get to see that. That's because we have a stationary front across the region. And while Futurecast is picking some of that up right now, I think that stationary front's going to be slow moving, so it's not going to have that moisture pump into East Central Illinois to allow this system to be sustainable. So I'm expecting this to break down. Now we could see some showers, maybe a quick flurry or dusting, but nothing more than that. I think it's going to be a very dry week this week with very little sunshine in store for us. Definitely you can see that even on the back end of the system. Plenty of clouds throughout the viewing area and even beyond out into Kansas City, up in Des Moines, Iowa. So hopefully you are able to stay inside because we're not going to get to see that sunshine. Down to 27 degrees tonight. Again, increasing fog throughout the evening hours, and that's because the wind's coming out of the south. It's definitely a cold day today, and with those winds coming out of the south, it's ushering in a warmer air mass and that moisture. Well, that's how we start to get that fog, and as we start to look out across the domain, we're going to see that fog rolling in here, specifically in Coles County, but across the board and really across central Illinois. For tomorrow, we're warming up to 34 degrees. It's going to be foggy, as I said, and I really keep emphasizing that because that's going to start to affect your commute tomorrow, so make sure you leave with plenty of time and don't be in a rush to get anywhere for tomorrow because it's just going to only make things worse. So up to 34 degrees around 3 p.m. and then of course we start to cool off as the sun starts to set. Unfortunately, we won't get to see that sun all the way up through Thursday. That's the next chance we get to see that sun. Mostly cloudy skies, but the good news is we do have a warm up close to 40 degrees and we finally surpassed that on Friday. So we've been in a cold spell right now, but now we're back up to 40 degrees. Could see 50s coming the beginning of next week.
Well, I'm looking forward to the 50s and the sunshine.
Yeah, but unfortunately these clouds, they're going to remain with us.